here. Under new business, I'd like to add an item under our resolution for personal property tax relief, an item for discussion regarding real estate tax relief for the elderly and disabled. I'd like to make a motion that we add that to the agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Just wanted to make sure everybody was good with that before we get started. And then I'm going to just give a little mayor's privilege because some of the folks may not be in the room at the time we get to where we might talk about it. This last week, you may have heard that we had some pretty exciting news that the City of Radford, our Economic Development Authority, our new West Radford Commerce Park, was awarded a $3.5 million grant from the state to clean up the brownfield area, to help prepare it and move it forward for business activity. And I just wanted to say thank you to every single member involved. I appreciate all the members of council, those folks sitting up front here with you, and the folks that have served the last few years. This has been a real heavy lift. I appreciate all the staff, David Ridpath and the entire staff. But I do want to point out Kim Repass, and I know we're embarrassing her a little bit. She has shepherded this project throughout the entire time. It is a really heavy lift to get a grant of this level from the state. And we just wanted to point out, while we had a crowd here and while Kim was here, that we are so appreciative of your efforts. We also want to say thank you to our EDA, Economic Development Authority. Abram Williams is their chair. This takes a village to make happen, and everybody pulled together, and we are so appreciative of everyone. And when I point out Kim, I'm not saying the rest of the staff didn't help. Everybody had a hand in this because this takes a lot of folks. But we want to thank all of our Richmond representatives, our Washington representatives, the governor's office, and everyone, the Virginia Economic Development Corporation that works with us, just really the whole crew that made it happen. And it's an exciting day in Radford. And that is a good way to start a meeting. So we will go on and begin. We'll ask our Lieutenant Vice Commander of the American Legion, Dana Jackson, to come forward with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. And at this time, we'll ask that you join us in a moment of silence where you can reflect on the meeting, you can prepare for the proceedings, you can use it for silent prayer or however you choose to move forward. All right, thank you very much. Council members, it has been a month since we had our regular meeting on July the 8th. You have the minutes from that meeting. There was a lot that happened that night. Have you had a chance to review those? And do we have a motion to approve as submitted, or are there any amendments to make? We have a motion to approve as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. At this time, we're going to open the floor for citizen comments on public matters. Now, we would like you to come down to the podium. Be sure to use the microphone, speak into the microphone, state your name for the record. Limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. We've got the clock up here on the wall, so that should help us. So the floor is now open for citizen comments. Please come down to our podium.
Okay, hi. My name is Beth Barber, and I have two things that I want to address, and they both include a petition. I don't know who to give this.
You can give it to Jenny. Thank you.
I'm just going to read what it says at the top. What I'm addressing is a year-round issue, and it does not discriminate. We have all probably ridden down Peppers Ferry Road when heading into Montgomery County. We pass the arsenal, the ammunition plant, or whichever you want to call it, on the left. There's a traffic signal at the turn into the arsenal. I'm requesting a flashing warning light prior to the actual traffic signal. It's only a warning to alert us that there's a signal ahead, that the signal ahead is red. There is one identical to what I'm requesting a few yards prior to the intersection of Peppers Ferry and Price's Fork, which you can see you can see the light, but for whatever reason they chose to put a warning light there. Having come to a sudden stop is at times impossible. There have been quite a few accidents, and some have resulted in deaths. When coming around that curve, the traffic signal cannot be seen, which makes it extremely dangerous. there should be a flashing light to alert us that there's a red light ahead. Granting this will show that you care not only about the residents of Montgomery County, but also those who work there, bring business, study, and visit. Thank you for your consideration. And that part was addressed to Montgomery County so that they realize that, hey, you know, if some of the rest of us didn't exist, you all couldn't function, essentially. So that's what the one petition is for, and hopefully you all understand that part. The second petition, and here's, it's a much smaller thing. This petition is to request a shelter for the Radford City Transit bus stop in the Riverbend Apartments. As you know, quite a few people use this bus stop. All of the tenants at Riverbend are year-round residents. I don't know why I put that there. Some of the residents are having to stand outside with small children regardless of the weather, which also does not discriminate. I'm thinking of one neighbor in specific. I think she's like a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. And we've all seen how the rain has been during these last couple of weeks. She literally stands out there getting drenched, you know, with an umbrella, but nonetheless, she can't keep both she and her kids dry. And then, of course, as it gets colder, I just think there needs to be a shelter there. That's all. And I made it. I made it.
10
Yay.
seconds is
I
fair.
know.
You did
I
great.
got it.
Council members, we normally take a little time after the presentations to answer with a response. So certainly I think we will take a look at those petitions and show our support where we can. And certainly I know Melissa and her team with Transit are looking at where we can put covered bus shelters, so we'll take a look at that as well. Anything else you all want to add?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Other people in the
Thank you.
community.
Yeah, well, okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Does anyone else have any comments on public matters that you would like to share with us this evening? Seeing no one rush for the microphone, we will close that portion of the meeting. And thank you again for bringing that up with us.
Did you have something you would like to say?
You can come on up.
But I talked about it.
We did, but why don't you come on up and share it with everybody else? That'll be fine. That way it's on the record, and even though you and I have had a discussion, we'll share it with all.
Hi, my name's James Bernathy. I live over in Auburn Avenue, and between Auburn Avenue and the Food Line, there's a bunch of people walk year-round down that grassed area. There is a sidewalk on the other side, but then they have to cross the road, which is dangerous to cross, and go down. They work down there. They go get their groceries down the Food Line. They're back and forth all year round. And one of the guys I know who works there at Food Line, he told me when I was talking to him the other day that there's times there's ticks coming up because the grass don't always get mowed because it ain't necessarily somebody's responsibility, things like that. It'd just be nice to have some sidewalks in that little stretch. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Dave, if you and engineering will take a look at that and see what we can do. Sidewalks are always awesome, and you're not wrong, and we'll have to look and see what can be done in that area. Does anyone else have a comment for the public record? Okay, thank you all very much for that. At this time, we will move on with our meeting, and we have an exciting program coming up in just a couple of weeks. The City University Advisory Commission has been working to bring a fun social event to downtown. Community Fest has been established and scheduled for August 24th in East Main Street between Harrison Street and Tyler Avenue. Highlights are food trucks, bands, crafts, business vendors, informational tents, all kinds of stuff. And Melissa Skelton, who serves on the committee, will share the program with us. So Melissa, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank you for the invite to share this event. We really are excited about what we're bringing for not just the university, the community as a whole. So to share a little bit of a background, this event grew out of a subcommittee that the City University Joint Commission had put together. The goal of that subcommittee was really try to look at all the events that were happening on campus and all the events that were happening within the city, and really how is there a way to be able to share that effectively so we can make sure that we are just being one community versus just little silos within the city. So from that from that, we kind of like coming up with ideas. What can we do? You know, we really want to be a place of a welcoming place to everyone. So we came up with this Radford Community Fest that, believe it or not, has been 24 months in the making. We thought, of course, what better way of coming together as a community than to host an event for all. It takes a team to do this, to actually put this on, and this is just the core planning team. This doesn't include the emergency response team and everyone else that we've had to communicate with to make sure everyone is safe for this event. So one that I'm incredibly grateful for, all the hard work they've put into. Including myself, we have Jenny and we have Kim from the city, and then we have Jocelyn Lewis, Charlie Joel, Tricia Smith, Nicole Kronowich, and Jen Renchler from Radford University. And thank you, Tricia, for joining us this evening. Really do appreciate your support and your leading this as well. As you shared, August 24th is Community Fest. It is from 11 to 7. We've got, we'll have a main stage with 4 acts that I'll be sharing with you momentarily. We have street performers, our mascots. At this point, we have 70 vendors. Excuse me, 10 of them are doubles. We've had a wait list, which we are in the process of opening up because we've had such a great response for people wanting to participate, so we are working on adding additional vendors to this, to this event. The brick and mortars along the East Main Business District, and I'll show you the map momentarily, those businesses who are directly impacted due to the closure have been invited to bring tables out on the sidewalks, do anything they can to promote their businesses at no cost. The vendors' spots were at $50 a piece. Brick and mortars within Radford, we gave a 50% discount. So we really did try to get a lot of businesses involved from Radford and make sure that they felt as involved as possible. Some of the vendor types that you shared, we've got food, beverages, treats, wood, paper crafts, jewelry. We've got social action and community engagement, faith groups, clothing, and community services. Some of it cut off, I apologize. Excuse me. The location of the event, it is, the bulk of it is going to be from Tyler to Virginia Street. We do have a closure from Tyler to 3rd Avenue, mainly for the security of the patrons. We in our safety meetings, our chiefs of police encouraged us to make sure that, you know, trying to make sure that anything that's going on, the stage itself, which is located right there at Virginia Street, that there's no incidences, limits the incidences that could potentially occur. We are going to utilize that space along East Main for performer load-in, additional vendor parking, and emergency response. We do have, you'll see in the middle of East Main, that's going to be where all the vending is going to be located, along with a little bit in the Norfolk Southern lot. The corner of Tyler and East Main is, you'll see the 4 blue, I'm sorry, I do know my colors, the 4 green spots, and those are going to be where the food trucks are located. We've got a kids zone, and boy, wow, we have Radford University's Fraternity Sorority Life who is sponsoring this. So they're not only paying for it, but they're also volunteer the whole day. So we're really trying to get as much involvement from both the community and university as much as possible. Adjacent to the next to you'll see the beer garden, which will be closed off, and we are thankful to Longway Brewery, who is going to be hosting our beer garden this year. So look forward to coming on out and enjoying that. At this point in time, we've got Soul on the Go, 800-degree wood fire, and Countryman Jamaican food trucks, along with some other smaller snow cones and goodies. So please, there's going to be lots of stuff to enjoy that day. The entertainment, wow, I get chills just talking about it, and really just this is quite a lineup for a community like ours. Soul Acoustics will be opening the day starting at 11:30 with a blend of modern R&B and old school soul. Music Road Trio, Road Company Trio We'll be following up with some island reggae and Afro beats. We've got the floorboards that will be bringing a blend of Americana and country roots. And then we'll end the evening with a high-energy pop-funk fusion band out of Johnson City, Florencia and the Feeling. Throughout the event, we have a street performer called Fluidity Performance Troupe, who will be entertaining all of us, young and old, with their multifaceted street performance and really, truly showing us what art in motion looks like. They'll, towards the end of the day, about 5:30, I believe, they're going to have an aerialist up there, so please just be on the lookout. Parking, something that's always comes up in anything that we do within the city of Radford. We will be having this pushed out. Those spots in yellow are university parking. We have 3rd Avenue parking, and then, of course, we have in red around Dedman and the Armstrong Building, we have the larger lots. We are, of course, encouraging Radford Transit because it is a free system. The hub will be open, so it'll bring them right down to the hub and be able to access the event very, very easily. So please, any questions, I'm sure we'll get plenty. But there's plenty of parking, and you might have to walk a little bit, but it's really not too bad. All of this will be done on the websites electronically and on Facebook electronically, so please, any questions, certainly reach out to us. Communication. The university and the city has done a really phenomenal job at pushing this event out. We have, at our best guesses, and really with everything they've done from flyers, social media, putting on Radford Transit, banners throughout the city and on campus, press releases, the Roanoke Times, next 3 days. We've got Christiansburg and Blacksburg Neighborhood and Living Magazine, Macaroni Kids, university parent and family newsletters, along with the university move-in and welcome material. We've a small group of us from the planning team went down to every business along East Main to really, and 3rd Avenue to include them as well, because they will be impacted as well, to please let them know, hey, please participate. You bring tables out to the onto the sidewalk. Promote your businesses. We know that you're going to be impacted. We understand it can be an inconvenience, but please do anything you can to help promote your business throughout that day. And majority got really good responses, so we really do feel like we have a good support on this event. In total, we're looking and estimating about 76,000 people have been reached. Our social media present is about 2,100 people, so who are saying they're going or either interested in coming. So we really feel like we've done a really good job on getting the word out to everyone. Don't have a whole lot more to share, but just, please, thank you for the planning team. They certainly could not have done this without all of them. It truly has been a labor of love. Clearly appreciate the city and the university administration for just supporting us and guiding us along the way. And of course, we hope everyone can come out and enjoy this day with us.
Thank you, Melissa. This is so exciting, and thank you to you and Jenny and Kim and Tricia for all serving on this committee. Thank you to Kelly as our council representative on the University City Joint Advisory Commission. This is huge because a lot of the things that used to happen on opening weekend were exclusive to campus, and this is pulling the students and their families and guests into downtown. This is inviting all of our full-time citizens to be downtown and inviting our neighbors from Pulaski, Montgomery County, from Christiansburg, Blacksburg, Dublin. Come to Radford, have a good time. And for our businesses, this is so exciting because literally thousands of people will be right outside their door. So I hope they do take you up on the recommendation and, maybe print coupons or run a special or do something to get attention because we don't have things this big down here before. And I know we've talked about it. We've tried some other things that we wanted to have downtown, but it's been a while since we've had a huge downtown event.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
And Tricia's come up with some great ideas about putting, with the stages, putting out the sandwich boards, showing this is not not the end of the festival. You've got businesses down here. Please, please go visit them. They're just as much a part of this as the rest of them. So we're really trying to reach out and bring everyone in, as hopefully make them feel as part of this event as everyone.
Thank you so much. Council members, are there any other questions, comments?
I'll just add on the thank you to everybody that was involved in the coordination between the city and the university. I also want to give a shout out. I really like the logo. That's pretty cool. That was, yeah.
Very cool.
That was well done.
Shirts with the logo coming, right?
There are going to be T-shirts for sale. There'll be free stickers for those. First come, first serve. So certainly get an opportunity to get one of those. So yeah, there's going to be lots of fun.
And it was a clever little take on our Radford VA on the license plate, so
Yeah.
very cute. Anybody else?
There's been a lot of detail that has gone into this. Like you said, it's been 24 months in the making, so I came into council and joined Joint Commission right when it had started to begin, and it's been a very exciting thing to see it come to fruition, and it literally makes me cheese ear to ear every time we start talking
Yeah.
about it.
Well, appreciate your support. We really do.
I'm very excited about it, and RU has put a ton into this. I can't tell you how accommodating they have been on listening to everything that we've said during Joint Commission, issues that we think the citizens might have, making sure parking was available. And just for everybody's FYI, parking is free on campus over the weekend. So if you ever want to enjoy anything else on campus, there are lots of things to do that citizens are more than welcome to come and join into, not just Community Fest, but on the campus as well. And there's plenty of availability for parking. Or you could take the transit, which is also a great option as well. So, but I hope everybody comes down. They've worked really hard, and I'm just very excited about it. So, great job, ladies.
Thank you.
Just one final note. I think this is one of those big efforts to add some unity into the community, to pull us all together and to show that we are just one big community of Radford, one big New River Valley. And this is a great opportunity to do that. We've got some cool Bobcats with us this evening. We would love to have a Bobcat presence downtown as well. So tell your friends, tell them to come out and shout loud and proud downtown. Thank you, Melissa. So it's exciting. Good news. Lots of good stuff happening. One of the coolest things that has happened over the last 10 or 15 years, I'm not even sure how long, but we'll find out, is the Access to Community College Education program. And Angie Covey, who is the director of the New River Community College Foundation, is here with us this evening to give an overview of the ACE program as well as its benefits to the city of Radford. And if you have known some of our folks who have gone from Radford to New River and then worked on the ACE hours, you've been blown away by their efforts. So Angie is here along with some members of our high school staff as well as some of our student ACE members. So Angie, the floor is yours.
I thought I would bring a team.
You
know,
did.
So I've got all the subject matter experts here. So, and the most important two subject matter experts that I have are two students, one former student and one current student, and I'll introduce those two folks here in just a moment. But my name is Angie Covey. I'm with New River Community College, and it's an honor to be here. And first of all, I just want to start by saying thank you all so much for the support that you've provided for ACE, Access to Community College Education. ACE started in 2015 in Giles County, and we were successful for 2 years, and Radford and Floyd County reached out and said, well, what's going on, and what could we do to have a program similar? So Radford, Floyd came on in 2017. Montgomery County, which was a huge lift with 4 high schools, came on in 2018. And then Pulaski County came on in 2020. And what that means, because a couple of you weren't on council at that time, what ACE means, Access to Community College Education, means that we can walk into all 9 of our high schools in the New River Valley and say to these high school seniors, you can come to New River Community College for 2 years without debt. And for some of these young people in our communities, that's life-changing when they hear that language. And we're not sharing that at the senior level. We're sharing that much earlier so that they know that there is this opportunity. A couple of the criterias for the program is the student needs to have a 2.5 GPA to be accepted into the program. At our college, our philosophy, especially with the ACE program and our scholarships, is that we look for every way for a student to be included in this. We're not looking to create obstacles and such. So when it comes to the GPA, we'll take their full year GPA, we'll take their whole high school GPA, or we'll take their last semester GPA. Anyone who's had a high school senior knows that sometimes that GPA gets a little tricky when that senioritis kicks in. So we look for every opportunity to pull the students in. In addition to that, students need to pay for their own textbooks. ACE only covers tuition. Students must do the federal financial aid application. And what ACE does is it closes the gap between what their federal financial aid package is and what their tuition is. And, you know, for some students that may be $4, and for some students it may be the entire amount. What we have found with a lot of these young people is they never thought college was an option. They had never planned to do the federal financial aid application. And when we gently pull them through that process, they find out that they get full financial aid and they don't need ACE dollars, and they end up going to college, whether it be New River or Radford University or somewhere else. So our goal is just to create a path to college. If they choose to come to New River, that's great with our Tuition Access Promise program, but we may have some folks, now that Radford has a Promise program very similar, that students figure out that that's a good avenue for them as well. One of my favorite parts of the program is the community service component. So in order for a student to receive any ACE funding, they are required to do 80 hours of service work, and they start at the summer prior to their first year or their first fall attending New River. So they do 80 hours for year one, 80 hours for year two, except for Giles County, they do 100 hours for each year. So a little bit of data for you. This current year, we have 37 students that are enrolled this fall as ACE students. There are some of them that still are kind of on the borderline of whether they're going to need any ACE because of their financial aid packages, and we'll get that sorted out as we get into the fall semester. But there's 37 on the list. I went back since 2017 when we 2017, so it would be the spring of 2018. For ACE students from Radford City, there have been 117 degrees, diplomas, and certificates awarded to students, which I think that's a phenomenal number.
It is.
Now, that is not 117 students. That's 117 degrees, diplomas, certificates. There are 73 students that have received. And what we find with a lot of our students that are in, for example, instrumentation, which we have a young man here tonight, they may do instrumentation, electronics, electricity. So some of them are graduating with 2 or 3 degrees. Some of the programs that these students are graduating in, and I'll just name a few: alternative energy, automotive, criminal justice, early childhood, electrical engineering, electronics, computer science, instrumentation, control, automation, human services, nursing, welding, and the list goes on of these degrees and certificates that these Radford City students have received since we started the program. We estimate that tuition this fall will be about $43,000, and Radford City has made a contribution of about $25,000 each semester, and then we fundraise for the difference. We received a couple years ago a $100,000 anonymous gift from someone who lives here in the city of Radford because they believe very strongly in what this program does for the community. When you think about workforce development, economic development, and your recruiting industry, and you can share with this industry that you have this program, it speaks tremendously to these companies. Here's one of my favorite numbers, and this is, as of this summer in Radford City, 19,840 hours of community service has been given back to the city. And that's tremendous. And Jamie Little is here with us. Jamie Little works with the school system, and she coordinates all of the community service opportunities for the students. And then also Deborah Kennedy is here with us. Deborah is the Dean of Students at New River, also a Radford City resident. So with these two folks here to answer any questions that you might have, I do want to introduce the two most important people that are here. We have Sydney Hardwick, and Sydney graduated this past May. She's transferring to VCU, so her credits from New River are going to send her to VCU, and she's going into cinema. And then we have Andrew Moore, and he is in the Instrumentation Automation Control Program at New River, and you'll graduate in the spring, but we may keep him on a couple more semesters to do some more electronics, electricity courses. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, and then I just wanted the opportunity for you all to ask any of these fine folks questions, especially our students. So.
Well, first of all, thank you. And, 19,000, almost 20,000 hours of service. Holy cow, that is amazing. And we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Council members, what do you all have question-wise? Jesse, I know you work a lot with the ACE program and with New River. Do you have anything you want to ask or add?
Well, I find it very exciting because I was on the school board when we first started talking about this and making this dream a reality for our students too. And I want to point out, when you hear the number 37 students, that's a third basically of our graduating class, correct? That's right around, if not maybe a little more, give or take?
Yes, and let me add something to that. There are a lot of students that aren't in that head count of the 37 for this fall because they're students that when they did that financial aid package, they are getting full financial aid and they're not ACE. So the number of students that come to New River from Radford is significantly higher than that. So just to add.
If there's someone in the community that wants to donate, what's the process to do that?
Well, I just passed it out, so everybody has a little card. But you can go to New River's website and just type in ACE, and it'll take you right to a page where you can give online, or you can go to New River's website and just say online giving, and it'll take you to a link to give.
Well, I appreciate everyone's efforts up there and the students too. It's just an amazing program, and it has impacted our community and our students in so many, many different ways. So I'm just proud of everyone involved, and I'm glad that we get to share in the success a little bit.
Yeah, I was just going to say, of all the programs we see, this is one of my favorite to support. I mean, you really are changing kids' lives and giving them opportunities, and this is one of the easiest things for me personally to support, and I appreciate all the work you guys do. It's cool to see some faces that I know going through the program, and this is a great program, so I'm glad that we're able to help support it.
Kelly, you have anything?
I started at New River and did my first 2 years, and it was an unbelievable place to kind of grow and figure out what you wanted to do. I had no idea, and it was a great community to kind of learn about yourself as well as what college is all about. And I thought it was invaluable to be able to learn very technical things down to trade, school things versus business things. So it's an invaluable resource, and it's right in our backyard, and we really appreciate everything that you guys are doing to make sure that it continues to be an open opportunity for everybody that wants to join.
Bobby?
Yes, I'm very impressed and so glad to hear all the good news and to be honest, I think this deserves a round of applause.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we're always excited to learn more. I hope you all will come back and share more of what you're doing with us. And Sydney, I have to brag on you a little bit. I know you're also a leading light for the New River Valley, so congratulations on that. We're excited for all the work that you're both doing and can't thank you enough. I did want to mention one last thing. Giles County, that started this thing off, has a wonderful fundraiser, their Muddy Ace Race. Not anymore?
Here's what happened with their Muddy Ace race. It was phenomenally successful,
Right.
and all the students put their 80 hours into this every summer. Celanese put hundreds of hours, or 100 hours for Giles. Celanese put hundreds of hours. And then, so Giles reflected on the program, they looked at what they were doing, and they figured out that the significant amount of funding that came in was through sponsors who said they would give whether they had the race or not. So Giles changed gears, and instead of doing this Muddy Ace race each year, they are dedicating all those hours back into the community. This Christmas, there was a large group of ACE students who fed needy families on Christmas Day. They have been building ramps for families that need handicap accessibility. It's phenomenal what they've been doing with those hours instead of doing the race, because what happened is the program became so popular, people said, we'll give you money even if you don't do the event. So
it was worth it, that's for sure. Just a side point to that, I think in the fall of 2018, I actually participated in maybe the second race or one of the races. It nearly killed me. I was nearly buried in Giles County, but it was great, and it was so much fun to see the enthusiasm, and it's wonderful that that's translated into other activities in Giles. And I would love to see us maybe do even more here in the city of Radford to celebrate our ACE students. So we will work on that. But thank you all so much, and I think another round of applause is due. Thank you. And we get to continue celebrating our students. Over the last year, we've really focused on celebrating the state-level accomplishments of our Bobcats. They are so numerous and so tremendous. We started this after the end of last year at our first meeting of the year this year, and then we said, gosh, this is so good, we need to do it twice. Just a few weeks ago, we did celebrate some other students, but we have a very special group that we need to talk about, and it is our Radford High School Choir that is here with us. Some of them are here with us this evening. Whereas the Radford High School Choir participated in All-State Honor Choir, and whereas the Radford High School Choir showed incredible determination, flexibility, persistence in preparing performance, and whereas, in addition to the overall choir success, individual members of the Radford High School Choir were invited to attend the All-State Honor Choir. These members include Justin Anziani, Colin Barron, Alex Bernethy, Whitney McGregor, Litany Pratt, Princeton Stevens, and Director Darren Goad. And whereas the Radford High School Choir program has worked hard for years to help students develop and succeed, now therefore we, the City Council of Radford, Virginia, do hereby offer the highest congratulations to the 2024 Radford High School Choir for this distinguished accomplishment, participating in the All-State Honor Choir and making the City of Radford very proud. Council, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this proclamation. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Congratulations. Let's hear it for the choir. Would you all please come down front? Come on, you all join me. Get in close like we like each other. Thank you all for making this happen. Thank you all so much for joining us this evening for this presentation to the choir. We are excited to see all the good things that you have done and all the good things that you will do. As we move on, we do have to have a public hearing for the Comcast Cable franchise agreement. Now, we're not going to take action this evening. We're just opening up the floor for the hearing, but I want to explain a little bit. In May 2024, we received a request from Comcast to operate a franchise in the city of Radford. The request is conduct, maintain, replace, repair, and operate a system of cable network services and transmission within the city of Radford along roadways, easements, alleyways, and on public grounds. The agreement term proposal is for a period of 10 years and includes a pole attachment agreement for $30 a pole annually. So that money will come back to the city. We're going to have to do two things. Advertise and hold a public hearing, which we are doing tonight, and this is a non-exclusive franchise where anyone could have put in additional requests to be a part of this. Comcast is the only one that did that for us. The public hearing has been advertised for August 12th, 2024 as required. We have received proposals from other service providers. No additional proposals have been received beyond the one for Comcast this evening. So, as such, I do have something I need to read. This is regarding bids for a non-exclusive franchise to operate a cable system in the city of Radford. Pursuant to Virginia Code Section 15.2-2102, I, David Horton, will now summarize the bids that the city has received for a proposed non-exclusive franchise to construct and operate a cable system in the city of Radford. The following bids have been received. Comcast has proposed a 10-year non-exclusive franchise to construct and operate a cable system in the city. In consideration of the franchise, Comcast will pay fees to the city pursuant to the Virginia Communications Sales and Use Tax. The franchise will be subject to the terms and condition of the franchise agreement substantially in the form attached to the city's proposed ordinance granting a non-exclusive franchise to construct and operate a cable system in the city of Radford, Virginia. Comcast would be a new cable service provider for the city. There were no other bids. Are there any other bids here this evening that people would like to submit at this time? Being no further bids, the bidding is closed. Does city staff have any recommendations this evening?
No recommendations tonight. We do ask for deferral. Tonight's public hearing has been advertised as required, so please proceed with that part of it.
Okay, we will now open the public hearing for the proposed non-exclusive franchise to operate a cable system for the city. If you would like to participate, please come down to the podium, use the microphone, state your name for the record. We will now close the public hearing. I will just add this. This is really exciting that we have this opportunity to consider another franchise for the city. We have had a franchisee for a number of years. This would provide us potentially another franchisee in the city to provide not only cable but internet service and other things along that line, so it is very exciting. We will return to this, and we're going to defer action, so we don't have anything else we have to do this evening, I don't believe. Okay. Thank you all very much. Council, we do have some old business to take a look at. We are going to defer action on Ordinance 1808. We don't need a motion to do that, do we? Yeah, that's what I thought. And so our only other old business is to consider appointments to the City University Joint Commission. Now, you heard of the amazing things that this commission is working on this evening, so I'm sure hundreds of people are excited to be a part of this program and want to participate. Do we have any nominees to appoint to the City University Joint Commission this evening?
Jesse, did you speak with your?
I did,
Okay.
and you should have a letter of interest in our paperwork here from Bill Radcliffe. He is excited, actually, at the opportunity to work with the Radford City University Joint Commission. So I would like to nominate him for this role.
We have a nomination for Bill. Do we have a second? Second. A nomination and a second. Do we have any other nominees?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, can we have a motion to go on and accept Bill as our new representative to the City University Joint Commission?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, Bill. Congratulations, City University Joint Commission. Good things are happening. We're going to move on to some new business now. The Radford Heritage Foundation is here to present its annual report and for us to talk about our Memorandum of Understanding. I'm going to ask Scott Gardner if he will come down, and without further ado, he can share with us all the amazing things that the Heritage Foundation is doing with Glencoe Mansion, Museum, and Art Gallery, and all the other things associated with the foundation. Scott, welcome.
Okay, well, thank you. This is my 14th year giving a report. Still nerve-wracking each time. Yeah, well, thank you, Mayor Horton, City Council, and City Manager Ridpath for the time this evening to review the work that we did throughout the last half of 2023 and for the first half of 2024. We appreciate all the support that the city staff provide to us for the operation of the Glencoe Mansion Museum and Gallery and the Mary Draper Ingalls Cultural Heritage Park. I also want to extend a big thank you to Jesse Foster, our city council representative, who has done so much for our organization over the years. So thank you, Jesse. So now I've got to coordinate technology with this. Okay. So we as the Radford Heritage Foundation are a nonprofit organization that partners with the city of Radford to operate the Glencoe Mansion. And with the museum, we provide the city and the community with a 3-in-1 museum experience with the period residence, history exhibits, and an art gallery and gift shop. We truly work to preserve the history of all the people of our area and all of the culture of our region. We're also responsible, as I've mentioned, responsible for the operation of the Mary Draper Ingalls Cultural Heritage Park, which includes the statue of Mary Draper Ingalls and the New River Train Observatory. But all the work that we do is possible through the help of our dedicated board members, volunteers, and staff. And I often imagine that people think elves are the ones doing all of this work. That's not the case. It is a team of dedicated individuals who do everything from setting up the tables last Friday to have the teacher luncheon to conserving documents and hosting events. And I even want to give a shout out to our local scouts who helped with some cleanup down at the park. And I'll just say with some of those younger ones, that was creative, the word help. Yes. But we are very, very thankful for all of that help. And so this evening, I want to recognize all that are here this evening who are a part of the Glencoe team. And so we have with us Wilma Dotson, who is serving as our new chair of the Radford Heritage Foundation. We have Kylie Sater, our Radford University intern. We have Dave Winston, one of our dedicated volunteers, and he's going to kill me when I say this, but we also have Bill Fleischer. I said I would not name him, who has been helping us with Glencoe. So thank you guys, and please, round of applause for all those. Okay, so our organization's goal is to provide informative and engaging content all throughout the year through events and through the operation of the museum, which help grow the community and also helps with the economic development of the city of Radford. And as far as charting these numbers, we're expanding our meaning of visitors to include not just those who are signing the guest book, but also trying to include those who are attending events on the grounds, going to the park. And so in 2023, we had about 3,500 visitors at the site. And in 2024, we had 1,800 visitors. And so who are these visitors? So we draw people from all over the region, all over the country, and all over the world. And so many of our visitors come off the interstate just needing a stop along the way. It's interesting how many people travel back and forth between Georgia and New York. That stop in Radford is a halfway point, but it's a welcome spot for them to come and enjoy some time. We host group visits throughout the year, and so those 3 pictures right there just kind of show the range, everything from school groups to university classes to senior groups in the community. But the site also draws in technology, an international crowd. So in these pictures here, we have firstly the YMCA International Women's Group. But then the last 2 pictures I think is really interesting. So early in 2023, within a couple weeks of each other, we had 2 separate groups visit from Sao Paulo, Brazil. So just the idea that Brazil is being represented at Glencoe. And then in the last slide, I'll just mention that we also draw in people from all over the country, and a lot of them have ties to the history of this area. And so here we have a picture of Michelle Peterson and her husband. Michelle Peterson's great, I can't even remember what, grandfather was John Haven, who helped create the lovely Mount Tavern, which helped give rise to the city of Radford. So it's really neat that we can be this connection from everyone within the community to the country and beyond. And so with education as our mission, we're working really hard to foster collaboration between the museum and our schools. So annually, we host the Radford City School Art Show. And then each year, we also host our new teacher luncheon, which brings in all of the new teachers, their mentors, and administrators into Glencoe and just give them an insight as to how much there is for us to work together for. And so last year, we had about 50 attend. And then this year, we were quite packed. We had 80 in this space here. The weather made us move it into the city council chambers, and we're very appreciative of David and everyone for letting that happen. But there's so much available in the community, and these teachers are learning about it. And I thought it was also cool just to be in this space for the teachers to really see just another aspect of the city of Radford. But 2023, I'll just kind of look back, it was a major milestone year as the museum reached its 25th anniversary. We celebrated this accomplishment with a reception that celebrated many of the original parties who were involved. We were very thrilled to have former Mayor Tom Starnes and former City Manager Bob Asbury there. Cole Morgan Corporation could not be present, but they did provide a lovely written message just congratulating us and just commending us on the community collaboration. We also produced a booklet, and in that booklet we charted the history of Glencoe. But one of the cool things that really popped out to me was creating a list of, or trying to create a list of everyone who's participated over the years, and had a list of nearly 300 board members, volunteers, etc. So this has truly been a community effort. But another kind of major thing that we've been embarking on is the Fields of Honor dedication, and this is a sign of really collaborating with the community. This is we're in our second year with the Radford Noon Rotary of having this awesome display. Last year there were 130 flags. This year there were about 200 plus flags. And so they're dreaming and scheming as we speak about how they can fit even more in for next year. But it's an excellent thing for the site. It brings a lot of attention, gets the community involved, and then we have a really moving ceremony with Radford Noon Rotary that just really drives home the message of what these flags are representing. And it's also, like I said, drawing a lot of attention, and people are excited. And I'll just even mention, I have the Dorothy Gillespie piece there for a reason. That Dorothy Gillespie's son, Gary Israel, was so excited by seeing the flags on the grounds that he wanted his mother's piece to be a permanent part of the collection. So he did donate that through the foundation. So a lot of growth through collaboration. And we are looking forward to year 3. And I'll just also mention, you might have noticed that the flags are up quite a bit longer. It has been extended through September 11th. And we are working with Radford Noon Rotary to host an event that will celebrate our veterans and first responders in relation to 9/11. But then we have our major collaborative festival of the year. And I'm going to just quote Melissa on just how much work it takes. She showed an excellent framework of all that's involved with planning an event. And so this major collaborative event involved partners. So we had City of Radford, Ingalls Farm, Longway Brewing, the Radford Chamber of Commerce, Radford on the River, Radford University Art Museum on Tyler, and the Wilderness Road Regional Museum of New Bern. And this year we added Pulaski Tourism, Ingalls Castle, and the Highlander Hotel as our partners. And so last year this festival brought about 2,500 visitors to the community. This is a very recent that just happened a couple weeks ago, so we're still working on numbers for 2024, but we're anticipating numbers equal or over that. We've been really working with our partners to increase the awareness of the history of the area and the story. And it also ties into helping to promote the city of Radford. And so we do get a marketing leverage grant from Virginia that helps us to fund getting literature out there. And I do have for you guys, Jesse, if you'll help me, 2 items. So our Glencoe Rack card and our Mary Draper Ingalls Cultural Heritage Park. Yes, yes. But these are
Bosses me. This is what he does. He bosses.
But just wanted to show like how all the funding helps. So it costs $1,200 a year to have these 2 placed at 5 different welcome centers in Virginia, and we've strategically marketed it to where 77 and 81 enter, and then also representing the DC area. So this event is doing quite a bit for our region, but we've got to get back to how all of this works. So how do we fund all of this? Well, our major partner is the city of Radford, and so we thank you for that support. But another major factor is our membership campaign. Each year we send out membership requests. 2024, we have been doing very well. We have, at this point, a little over 90 members, and this represents families, organizations, single individuals, and thus far it's raised $16,600. And we also receive donations throughout the year from citizens who don't choose it as a membership thing. They just make donations in our donation box or online or as organizations. And so last year we did receive a $1,000 donation from Radford Noon Rotary from the Field of Honor Project. And then I have a picture of there with me, Kathy Kathy Jordan, who is the president of the Eclectic Enophiles. This group donated $3,500 to our organization at the beginning of this year. But we also receive funding through grant opportunities. And throughout 2023 and 2024, we have brought in $45,000 in grant funding. And these are allowing us to achieve a lot of great things. First, I'll mention the Commonwealth History Fund. That was a $30,000 grant to, the main thing, get our stair lift built or installed at Glencoe. That is going to be in hopefully by the end of this month or beginning of September. It's also funding light filtering windows, window coverings that will protect our objects, and a new exhibit on Reconstruction. Virginia Humanities, part of the 250 program, we're going to be doing a new exhibit on Mary Draper Ingalls that's much more inclusive of all parties that took place or took part. Just mentioned forestry grant that got 17 new plantings on the site. It also allowed us to create and print this new item. Jesse, please pass that along. Yes, our plant guide. Yes, I got to stay on, Jesse. But all of these pieces work together to allow us to operate the site. And so just in conclusion, we have achieved a great deal, and this is because of all of the work of so many individuals. And I just want to highlight that we're very grateful to the city for all of its support for our efforts. And there is certainly much more information in the written report that I provided for you guys. But if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer those. And thank you for your time and consideration.
Scott, that is just tremendous, and it is wonderful to see all of the elements that the Heritage Foundation and the Glencoe and the Mary Draper Ingalls program really touch. And it's one thing to be a director of a museum, right? You're curating activities or objects and stories, but then you've got all of this other stuff that's part of it. And we want to say thank you for all the work that you do, and to Wilma and everybody. Thank you all so much for the work you do. Thank you, Jesse. You did an excellent job with these brochures, getting them out to us. We appreciate that. But we really do recognize how significant this is. During the Mary Draper Ingalls weekend, for example, I spoke to people from several different states that it was their first visit to the city of Radford. They came because of the program. That's exciting. We don't have that many opportunities to bring in people from all around the country, all around the world. And so when we do have that opportunity, it really is significant. And so I think it has room to grow, and I think we've got an opportunity to do that, but that's wonderful. And then the Field of Honor has just been a tremendous symbol for the city of Radford, and a wonderful thing. And we've got America's, I think this is right, bi-sesquicentennial coming up, 250th anniversary in just a couple years. So if we can get to 250 flags by then, that's a fantastic goal. We'll probably well surpass that with the popularity of the program. But I think that is one of those things that is iconic for our community as people go by. That really has made a big difference, and so many people have rallied around that. So that's been a wonderful thing, and just thank you to everybody. Jesse, you're on the board, you're a council's rep. What do you have for us?
Well, you guys hear me talk about my working boards. This one will work you, just so you know. But it is really such a pleasure to work with this board. And I know a few of you guys are a little bit newer to council, but I have to tell you, this is amazing. When you look at this presentation, these are activities and things that these guys are spearheading in our community, and it's much improved. I know that was a real drive of the board and of Scott when we were evaluating priorities. We wanted to bring more people into our community for a lot of different reasons, a lot of tentacles out there. And just to point out, they're not only just good stewards of that history, but I had mentioned that Scott and I did go to the American Legion, and in the basement, they had some pictures and documents, and we have now brought them to Glencoe where they're going to be stored properly, and we're hoping to be able to do some display of some type, whether it's one event or we have some that remain there as a permanent part. But they're just wonderful stewards. And another focus has been grants, because they have been very well aware that, you know, budgets are tight overall. And so you'll see that they really took the helm, and they've been resourcing, and grants, as many people, Kim can tell you, they're a beast. So, and really, thank you to everyone within the city too, because it takes a lot of collaborating and support to really make this a success. And thank you to everyone on this board. You guys are so amazing. You are inspiring, and you keep me honest, and I'll work on the brochure presentation. I'm sure Scott has notes for me. Thank you again to everybody.
Bobby, I'll go down to you. What do you have for us this evening?
Well, Scott, sorry about the nerves thing that's going on, but I get it. Appreciate your presentation, and every time you come up here and speak, I learn something else, you know, every time. You do a good job in your presentation, so maybe that'll help settle the nerves. And I'm also grateful to the, you know, every time I'm here, I learn so much, you know, but I appreciate everything that you're doing, your staff, everybody. I guess I'll call them your staff. You know, I know, you know, Kim and everybody's working together, so I appreciate that, Jesse. So thank you very much.
Well, most of the staff are unpaid volunteers. Just so you guys aren't waiting for a check.
Yeah, right. And we're beyond appreciative of
They
that.
haven't walked out yet, okay.
Seth, do you have anything for us?
Yeah. Scott, as always, well done, and Jesse, as your representative, thank you, your board, you guys do a great job, but, you know, Scott, you're the heart and soul of the place, and you can tell that how much it means to you and how much work you put into it, and it is a treasure for the city, so thank you for your hard work. You put a lot of time, and a lot of time that I'm sure people don't even see, so it's appreciated and very well done, and it is a treasure, so thank you for everything you do.
Thank
Helen?
you.
You blow me away every time, like somebody else said. Like, there's always something new that I found out, and you guys really do work very hard. You're constantly, you know, getting things done, and there's always new programs. My favorite, like I said last year, is the Field of Flags. Every time I drive by that, it brings me great pride to be in the community that we are, and I know that's a lot of work out in the elements, putting those things up and making sure everybody's flag gets out there and has representation. So that's one of my favorite things. I really appreciate that, and the fact that you're extending it this year to incorporate 9/11, I think, is also something amazing. And just congratulations on finally getting your lift in there and working. I know that's something that you've been talking about since I got on City Council, so I'm excited to come and see it in all of its glory being finished. So.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I'll say it's exciting. Doing the research for the 25th anniversary, the first recommendation was we need something between the second and third floors, and 26 years later, we're finally
Just
getting
26
it.
years. But in the scheme of things, in the millennia that you cover for the museum, that's just a blink of an eye, right?
Yeah, yeah.
No, but again, I can't say thank you enough and add my thanks to everybody else. And, you know, Seth has a personal connection here with his grandfather, with Tom Starnes. Tom had a vision for this museum and was instrumental. He, along with Bob Asbury, were instrumental in helping make it happen. And I would say it's a tremendous vision that's come to life. But I think it's probably surpassed even what he might have thought it would have been, because really the storytelling is tremendous. It's not a place that's just a repository of Radford's history. It's a living portion of Radford's history, and the partnerships you've generated with different organizations to have so much activity is just a really wonderful element, and it brings so many more people to the Glencoe grounds than would come otherwise. So we say thank you, and we do have some business to take care of. There is a memorandum of understanding, council, that you all have. Scott gave us an overview, but the big thing is for us to approve a little bit of money to be able to make sure this happens. Now, historically, we provided $15,000, and we increased that just a couple years ago, but there is a need for an additional increase to support the Mary Draper Ingalls weekend. And like I said, I think there's room for that to explode and become an even more significant part of our community, but that's not going to happen unless we're able to invest in that. And I think if that grows the way we want it to, it's certainly going to bring back the money tenfold. So the Heritage Foundation has asked for a $2,000 increase to support that weekend, which would bring our total to $17,000. Council members, do we have a motion to accept the memorandum of understanding at $17,000?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? A motion and a second. Any further discussion? The only thing that I will say is, with this $2,000, one of the things I would love is to continue that partnership with our businesses. We had a few additional that came on this year, but I think we really need to try to get even more, particularly some of our restaurants and folks, to do Mary Draper Ingalls specials or something along that line. And I'm hoping that's something we can help, I can help with, whatever we can do. But with that, if there's no other discussion, all in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, and thank you all so much.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you all so much. We appreciate you all.
And Scott, put the mayor down
Yep.
for Mary Draper Ingalls.
I'll be
He's going to be
working.
doing the business,
I'll be working.
the restaurant component.
I'll be helping you.
It's on video.
It's on video.
So it was exciting to talk to people from all over the country during that weekend, and we had so much good stuff going on that it really was a neat element for us to have here in the city of Radford and tell our story. Council members, under new business, we do have some personal property tax relief to talk about. This is the car tax, essentially. The state of Virginia requires localities to provide tax relief to local citizens on their portion of personal property, or the car tax. The percentage of relief on qualifying vehicles is established each tax year and is based on an amount set by the state, which Radford receives from the state. That's how we fund this. This year for Radford, it's $625,657. To reach this amount of relief, the rate proposal for 2023 is 2023 or 2024? That should be 2024, right? Yeah. That's okay. I just wanted to make sure we weren't doing something for last year's. The rate proposal for 2024 is 36% for personal property, valued at $1,001 to $20,000. Now, business vehicles, motorhomes, and vehicles valued under $1,000 are excluded. So, council, this is kind of a formula that we're given by the state. We could add more money to it if we wanted to, but that is the money that we receive, and this is how it's been calculated, I think, with the help of the Commissioner of Revenue, to say we could provide 36% relief from where our rates are for the city. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you very much. Now, this is the item that I wanted to just bring up for discussion. We do have to work on this a little bit. The last time the city talked about having tax relief on real estate, personal property, was about 5 years ago. We had a working group that Councilman Grootman led that took a look at it. The previous time that we actually changed something was 2015. So the numbers that have been established for us to provide relief to seniors, elderly citizens, and disabled citizens are an income annually of $24,000, assets of no more than $70,000, and a home that is valued at $180,000 or less. One of the problems with that is in the last 5 years, there's been about a 25% increase just in Social Security alone. So if you were close or near that mark, as your Social Security check went up, it took you out of the tax relief. And then we just had our reassessment, and the average, this doesn't mean it's on everyone's home, the average was about 36% increase in home valuation. Here's the challenge we have. I think it makes sense for us to increase these numbers so that people can participate, because there's really only a handful who are still eligible, and several did fall out of that this last year as the home valuations went up. We don't want to hurt anybody that's trying to stay in their home, and a couple $1,000s difference might make all the difference in the world for them to be able to stay in the home. The problem is, and this is twofold, and I'm certainly open to conversation on this, we don't know exactly how many people will qualify once we change the numbers. And so that brings us up with a challenge, because right now we are working through some cash flow elements. We're trying to preserve as much money as possible. In a perfect world, having talked with the Commissioner of Revenue, I think it would make sense to increase the income level by about 25%, 25, 26%. That would bring it in line with Social Security. So that is a number that is a real number. We can know that that's what's increased over the last few years. And then to increase both the assets total and home value by 36%, that would help us with the home valuations. That would take care of several of the people that fell off this year. We do know that. But we don't know if that's 1,000 people, 100 people, 10 people. And the problem is, until you do it, you don't know. So having said that, I think the prudent thing to do might be to try half of that until we get to the December tax rates. And this is just for discussion tonight. We're not taking any action. I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers out there. But to consider a 12 to 15% increase in income and maybe an 18% increase in the home value, and then see what that does. Because we really won't know until we get to the December tax collections to see where that is. If we find a few more folks have joined, but it's not thousands, then we could potentially look at it again. But I don't have a good answer here, because we don't have any idea that once we do this, how much it will impact us numbers-wise.
We don't have a rough projection of a net amount?
Nope.
Is there, are there any strategies that we could do to get that between now and then? I mean, do we think this could be a huge amount, or are we really flying in the dark here?
You don't know, as the mayor said, you don't know until you start seeing the collections.
Yeah.
Possible, oh, sorry, go ahead.
What's happened is we've been through 3 reassessment cycles since the last time this was proposed, and the commissioner was thinking time to look back, because she's getting questions about people that have fallen out of the ability to have tax relief on.
And it is a good program that that helps people that direly need it. I just want to make sure that we're not hurting ourselves in the process with what we're trying to, overcome. So, yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean,
Well, and what about for the people that have qualified that have suddenly dropped off? Just to maybe capture them if necessary, have them perhaps, either we can reach out to them in a letter form or some form saying if you, are still having challenges in meeting this price point, let us know and we can reevaluate it. So at least we know that we're at least picking those folks back up that have qualified and nothing's changed for them.
I mean, the hard part is, I don't think you can do it on an ad hoc basis like that, where you're going to each individual one. I think you have to kind of set the total as a program, that it's a threshold that you're either above or below.
Well, how many are we thinking have dropped off?
Yeah, we
Are
don't have any
talking
number at
5
all
or
to go through,
50
so-
or?
So I think at one time we had about 26 that were in the program in recent years. I know that 3 additional dropped off this last year. People can change out of this for a number of reasons. Their income could go up because they've had success in the stock market or received some additional money. The house valuation was a particular part of it this last year. The commissioner can get us some additional numbers if you would like to do that.
Yes.
I think the problem is, she and I have talked a good deal about this, and this was her recommendation for what she thought would be appropriate for us, and there was a rationale behind it. The Social Security increases that for most all people who would be on the lower end of income, Social Security would probably be the primary income. So that's justifiable in that. The asset value, that's totally based on our average for the city. We could go with a lower number if we chose to, but that's the challenge. And I think the real risk here, and to your point, we are trying to do something else. The real risk is we won't know until we do it. Because just because we do it doesn't also mean that people will apply for it. They may choose not to for whatever reason. But it's one of those that I think it does make sense. We only have a little time. Now, I will add this in. In the month of September, The Board of Equalization is doing its work on the home valuation, so you need to contact the Commissioner of Revenue's office. There's information on their website about the Board of Equalization. That could adjust your home value if you have questions, and that's one of the reasons we're bringing this up now, because we really have to get through that whole process too, to see if the valuations were appropriate and to see where their work went. But I just wanted to bring it up for discussion. I will say, we tried to do something with this about 5 years ago, and the decision of the working group at the time was the program was fine and we were in pretty good shape, but things have changed significantly in 5 years. And so I think it's worth us looking at and talking about, but the real risk here is I'm not certain we will have a hard number, no matter what we do. I've asked for that. I've talked with the commissioner about this, and she's been great trying to help us think through it. Her recommendations were based in a reality, which is good. It's just what we can afford to do. And, I always try to find something, if we can't get 100% the way we want to go, can we at least get some steps toward that, see where we are, and then maybe be able to provide additional relief later if we go down that path.
What's the dollar amount that we're providing in relief right now, roughly?
Just pull it out of the sky.
Yeah.
Of those 25, that would be roughly my guess.
Okay.
25
you.
residents.
5 of them in the program now. Let's just say 35.
And it varies from property to property. That's the challenge. And increasing this may just take it up $10,000 or $15,000. It may take it up $150,000. I don't know. And I hate to say that. I hate to bring you something that I don't have answers for, but the problem is I don't think we're going to have a hard and fast answer on this.
Well,
To be honest, my issue is we don't have a lot of wiggle room
No, I agree.
right now. I mean, at all.
This needed to be discussed because we have had multiple people, again, a handful of folks who've dropped off, who weren't paying tax previously. Their valuation changed on their home, and they no longer qualify for the program. And it's kind of an all or nothing thing because it's a threshold. It's not that suddenly you get 10% relief versus 100% relief. It's either all or nothing, and you either meet the threshold. So just for discussion tonight, is there any additional discussion or questions? And then we'll put it on the agenda for September. I don't know that I'll have better numbers for you, but I do think this is something we need to think about.
When
try
would the
to figure out.
decision have to be made for the tax tickets?
I mean, by November, David, would that make sense for the tax tickets?
Would it even count for this year? Tax tickets have already been out for this year. I'm thinking it's.
So you don't think we'd be able to do it retroactively for the December?
I would have to check and see.
Okay. Well, let's check on that and see. I had thought that we could put it into place, and even though the tax ticket might be out there, they would just be exempt if they were in the program.
Yeah, I'm not totally involved in that, so I can't say 100%
Okay.
for sure. But I'm thinking that since tickets are already out, we haven't qualified by now, so I think that it's deadline.
And again, one of the sticky wickets here is the Board of Equalization historically would have done their work in the springtime before the June timeframe. They chose to move that to September after they went through their training. So we really don't know exactly where everybody is because you do have a right to go before that Board of Equalization to challenge the assessment on your home. And I do encourage anyone that's out there that feels like they were unfairly assessed by the private company, the independent company that did that for us, to look into that process because it is your opportunity to talk to your fellow citizens and get an answer on that. But that's where we are, and I just wanted to get it on everybody's radar, and you kind of know where the numbers are. It's a tough one because we are trying to get through some other challenging financial pieces, but I think we have to do this intentionally. Either we do it or we don't do it, and there was a reason why we did it or why we didn't do it. So, just for discussion, like all the challenging discussions we've had. Does anybody else have any questions we want to have checked out before the next meeting?
yeah, I have a comment.
Okay.
So I've been, reached out with things like this. I'm sure that everybody's got an email probably from the same individuals. And you said that the Commissioner of Revenue has gotten a lot of comments from her. If there's an issue that council needs to discuss or decide on or get information from, she should be bringing it to all of us so we can all have all the information and make decisions instead of one person, and then we have to, spend a lot of time, asking her to come to us again, or any other department. If you guys have something going on that council needs to know about, bring it to everybody, not just, there needs to be transparency throughout the entire thing, and it's
I did share an email
frustrating.
with everybody last week after the commissioner contacted me.
Okay, well, I haven't
again.
been able to look at email
Yeah.
because it's been down, and, that's no fault of anybody else's, but, I mean, I think we all need to be given the same information, so we can all, and if she has additional information to give, she should share it with everyone.
That was shared with everybody last week.
Okay.
So, and again, this has been a rolling thing. The citizens who have reached out again last week, and that's what prompted this and prompted the communication. And so that was shared with everybody last week. So, moving forward, we do have several resolutions to take a look at. For the VDOT maintenance payments, the city receives funding to support the repair, maintenance, and oversight of all streets that meet minimum qualifications of VDOT standards. Each year, streets are added and/or deleted based on the VDOT review of our submission. The resolution petitions VDOT for additional lane mileage payments for the city's qualifying roadways. David, what can you tell us about that to give us additional information?
Yes, it's been several years since we've had one of these. Any new roads that we add into the system, any improvements we made, this allows us to be able to recoup some of that VDOT money. So it's a simple resolution. They have to have it on record so they can up our payment allocation.
Okay.
It's always good news.
Does anybody else have any questions regarding the VDOT maintenance payments? Do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, now we've got 6 appropriation ordinances here, Council. What I'd like to do, if we could, if it pleases Council, is let's talk about Appropriation Ordinance 1802.06, 1802.07, and 1802.08, and then we can approve those in one group. Then we can look at Appropriation Ordinance 1802.09, 1802.10, and 1802.11, and look at approving those in one group. That kind of lumps them into things related to the police department and things related to social services. Does that please Council to move forward that way? Okay. For Appropriation Ordinance 1802.06, the City of Radford received a grant from the Virginia State Police for their Help Eliminate Auto Theft HEAT program. The grant supports the enforcement, prevention, education efforts to deter motor vehicle theft. The $12,500 support will provide maintenance subscription for the city's 4 flock cameras used to read the license plates of stolen vehicles. The funds were not programmed in the development of the budget, and they require appropriation. No matching funds are required. These flock cameras have been amazing. They certainly have helped us do our job better with our PD here in the city, so I think that's wonderful. Council, do you all have any questions, thoughts regarding that? Okay. Appropriation Ordinance 1802.07, the Police Department has requested appropriation of $82,622 of its asset forfeiture fund. The Virginia Code allows for a portion of seized assets to be used by law enforcement agencies, and these will be used to further investigations, training, and career development for officers, equipment, and community education. There is no financial impact or requirement for the city, but it wasn't programmed in the budget, therefore it does require appropriation. Any questions regarding 1802.07? And then finally, the police department has received $4,779 in donations for Appropriation Ordinance 1802.08. They would like to use the funds to support the Community Engagement Unit program for crime prevention and outreach programs. Again, no financial impact to the city. The funds were programmed in the development. Okay, so they are required. They were not programmed, so they are required for an appropriation. Do you all have any questions about 1802.08? I will just say the Community Engagement Unit and the outreach and crime prevention, wonderful. We had National Night Out last week. That was a fabulous event with lots of folks attending, and folks were looking at the signing up for the Smart 911 program, which really helps us in a lot of ways, and also community neighborhood watches. So I think that's very valuable in that. So council members, I'll ask that we have a motion to approve 1802.06, 1802.07, and 1802.08. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Having heard 4 affirmative votes, we can dispense with a second reading if so desired. Is there a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. A motion and a second to dispense with a second reading. All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Now we're looking at social services and some wonderful grant opportunities here. Appropriation Ordinance 1802.09, the Department of Social Services has received additional state funds under the Auxiliary Grant Program to help adults maintain a standard of living that meets basic needs. The state funds for the program are $22,279 and are matched with $5,569 in local funds for a program total of $27,848. So that sounds good. Do you want to tell us any more about it, or does that pretty much cover it?
Well, the auxiliary grants are focused on the elderly and disabled. So, for instance, I know in this room we've talked about Fairview Home. So quite a number of people in the city of Radford that get auxiliary grants live at the Fairview Home. And for some people, that is their home. They'll live there for 20 or 30 years because they really have no family that can take care of them and so, you know, there's, auxiliary grants have never been a lot of money, and so I'm always thrilled when there's a little bit of an increase, and it just means it's easier for places like Fairview Home to close the gap and provide even better quality of services, so.
Thank you, and that really makes a difference, and we do appreciate that. You can stay where you are, because we're going to talk about 1802.10. Department of Social Services has received additional state funds under the Children's Services Act to assist with the salary and benefit needs to oversee youth services. The additional funds are $13,405 and are matched with $3,423 in local funds for a program total of $16,828. The fund will be matched with existing department funding.
Jesse serves with me on the management team, and CSA is big money, but there's literally, it's a one-person agency, and that role of the coordinator is very important, and there's a lot of liability that goes with that job, and so you really need the right person in the position, someone who's very detail-oriented, and I think Jesse would agree with me that Amber seems to be, she's new to the job, but seems to be doing a good job, and you know, we're serving a lot of kids. Our budget on a regular basis is over $1 million, so it's not a small amount of money. And plus, she also, it's not only the money part, it's also quality control for the records and having all the right documents and licensing, and it's just a lot for one person to juggle. And so, yeah, so that's Children's Services Act.
Thank you.
It is really vital to everything that we're doing as an agency to support those in the community that need that additional support. And I will have to say, if I can give a little shout out to Amber too, she has been a very quick study. This job is certainly one of the most intricate, detailed, complicated, emotional jobs I think you can do. I have to be honest, I have left that particular board meeting and I've sat in my car and cried. So, and that's just sitting in a meeting with the overview, but to do the level of interaction on a daily basis, you all do such a fantastic job, but certainly that role is vital.
And, you know, we do serve foster children through that fund, but we also deliver prevention services, and so those services are keeping additional kids from coming into foster care. So, you know, it's kind of after the fact and prevention as well.
We thank you. I mean, that's so important. The work is so incredible, and it is so hard. So this is very well needed. And then finally, Appropriation Ordinance 1802.11, the Department of Social Services has received an additional $69,008 in funding to support Medicaid expansion. No local match is required. The funds will be used to support administration costs associated with administering the program. They were not programmed as part of the budget and therefore require appropriation. $69,000 is fantastic to help our citizens.
Yeah, and as you know, there were a lot of waivers in place during COVID. All those waivers are gone, and so staff is having to address 3 years' worth of Medicaid cases where nobody had to report a change, and they're having to go through through that, figure out who still qualifies, who is over income, who's moved, who's passed away, and so it's been a very large task. And it's nice that there's no local match. And the state keeps saying, one of these days, there's going to be a local match, and so far, the next year has not been one of those days, so we'll take it for as long as they're offering it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So council members, are there any questions or comments, or do we have a motion to move forward with 1802.09, 1802.10, or 1802.11? We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Having heard 4 affirmative votes, we can move ahead with, we can dispense with a second reading if so desired. Is there a motion to do so? So moved. We have a motion. Do we have a second? A
Second?
motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
I need to say this real quick, too. How long, Vicki, have you been in your role? 25 years.
And thank you.
She is a gem.
How in the world have you done it for a quarter
She is a
century? We
gem.
thank you so much.
So I have to point that out, and I also have to say, working with Keith has been a real pleasure, too. He's a stickler for the numbers, and he keeps us all on point. So you guys really are amazing to work with, and I certainly have grown as a human being for participating in it with you. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Well, David, it's been a big week. What do you have for us this evening?
Yes, just to expand one more time on what's already been said, I've got to really thank our team. Vicki, you all are heading out, but all of the departments, police, fire, economic development, social services, Jenny with litter grants and EMS, emergency services types of things. All the departments work hard in trying to seek out every possible grant that's out there. Melissa does a number of them, so just thank you to all of our departments for everything you do. Look at what we have tonight, you know, $100,000 worth of additional grant funds to
It's fantastic.
take care of a lot of services and needs for our community. So great job to everybody. Yes, Mayor, it's been a very busy past 30 days. We have had a little bit of everything from hurricanes to excitement in all of this. As you know, early last week, we were dealing with Hurricane Debbie coming through. Fortunately, a lot of rain, not a lot of issues from our end, so that's good. Got to thank all of our departments for being ready to go on a moment's notice if trees were down or water in the streets or flooding or emergency rescues needed to occur, you know, those kinds of things. Great job, they're prepared. We've got some more, looks like it's gonna be a long tropical season this year, so we're prepared no matter what. So that's been a big thing, and we do appreciate all the departments that are on board and watching everything and helping me through that process as we look and establish emergency declarations, things like that as we need going forward. As you all know, continuing to work hard on our financial position and follow up from our meeting a few weeks ago and the number of meetings that we've had. Meeting with staff to look at those additional savings where possible, make a lot of progress there, and I'll give you all a report on that in the next few days. Our email has been down, so anybody from the public that's been trying to get in touch with us, if it hadn't been by phone, it's finally coming back up this evening. Nothing will be lost, so please thank you for bearing with us over a couple of days for that. Getting into our exciting things, we've got events, a lot of events coming up. You heard about Community Fest coming in a couple of weeks. We've got one concert's been rained out. We're hoping for good weather for the concert this week. Exciting 80s band at Glencoe Lawn, and then we start moving into fall events as we start heading towards the Highlanders Festival, another concert this fall, and maybe possibly a teaser for a fall festival event of some kind. Great event Scott then put on with Mary a couple of weeks ago as well. So a lot of good things, and they are bringing people. The hotels are staying full, restaurants staying full. I know when I go to those places, I see a lot of people I don't know. So that's always great when they're coming from elsewhere, spending money in our community. So very good news there. As councils, we've been so excited about the Virginia Business Ready Sites program. $3.5 million to more than just buying the property, which is the old VCI property, former Lynchburg Foundry property that's been in our community for over 100 years, is now taking that property to the next step, creating jobs, private investment, making it something that will be a big plus for our community in many, many years going forward. Everybody, I got to thank everybody that's been involved in this, whether you were supportive of letters and just the project, and it's gone through a number of years. Especially want to thank Kim. The stack of paperwork that she had to fill out for the grant itself was amazing, and then the redos and the retakes and the conversations we had to have and figure out what that next step was, and then trying to guess, what would be get awarded. But to be one of the 27 in the state and to eliminate a brownfield particularly in Radford, but in Southwestern Virginia, is fantastic. And thinking back through it, I believe this is probably the largest grant award that we've had, at least in a couple of decades, proportionally to what you get now. So great news for us. Patience as we move forward. We're going to be kicking this off this winter with bidding, and soil removal will be the first part of the process in next year. And then we move into that slab removal, grading, and all the stuff that really looks neat and fun to get the site ready to go. So very exciting, and appreciate everything that Kim, the EDA, the council, and all the staff have done in pulling the pieces of this together and getting everything from mapping to just the application itself in. So great news there. Also, when you were talking about Kim leaving, she wasn't going to be able to leave because I had a bunch of stuff for her tonight. So we also, y'all will recall, about a year and a half ago, we received a grant from Virginia Department of Tourism to improve and looking at marketing tools for our community. So we've been working on some really high quality video, and I'm going to turn that over to Kim to tell you a little bit about the 3 videos that we've got, show those to you real quickly. Again, great marketing tool. It's fantastic when we're now getting to that point we can really start pushing our marketing to help us in filling the Applebee's space and filling the Moog location, filling the Old Family Dollar, and then bringing other businesses to our community, restaurants, people that make things, sell things. So those are all positive things. With that, Kim, if you'll kind of tell them a little about the program, and I'm probably going to turn the lights off so y'all can really see the video well.
Yeah, so as David said, tourism received a $30,000 grant, and it's been about a year and a half. Trying to be methodical about how we use those dollars. A percentage of that dollars was used to market our city at the Dedman Center and at baseball and softball games. There's a lot of events that happen at the Dedman Center, so it was really important that we had our logo at the top as you walk in the door. So that was a piece of it. Secondly, there just wasn't a video that had been done for Radford. I think the Chamber did one a couple years ago, but there just wasn't a good quality piece of work that we had so that I could use in my back pocket to market future industry coming into our region and just people to live and work and play here. And that's sort of the idea as we moved forward. I worked with a production crew out of Roanoke called M&F Productions, which was fantastic, by the way, very high quality company. And we sat around the table and kind of thought of what we could do to produce, to do different ideas, right? So we have a longer version that's a 2 to 3 minute video of Radford. Basically portrays us as the perfect place to live, work, and play. There's also a couple different videos. There's a 15-second video and a 30-second video, which we can use on social media, that we can use commercials on our local stations and reach as far as North Carolina, West Virginia, places like that. Also, the idea was to use some splashes on our websites, whether it's the City of Radford and the tourism website. And we did a couple different campaigns. One was explore with us, come dine with us, and come fly with us. So we're gonna watch a few of those today. But this one is the longer version, which is a 2 to 3 minute. It's hard to, when we started doing all this, to really look at, there's so much in the city to get into 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It was hard to do, but I think we captured as much as we could, but I think it's pretty spectacular, so.
Since the beginning of time, a universal force of nature has shaped our existence: balance. Friction, torque, and horsepower working together to power the railways that built this region. The beauty of the changing seasons, even in hitting a perfect golf shot, balance is the key. As people, we thrive when we live, work, and play in a state of balance. And in Radford, Virginia, you can see these forces at work each and every day. Known as the New River City of New River Valley, This is a place shaped as much by how it embraces emerging technologies and innovation as it is by stunning outdoor sports along one of the oldest rivers on planet Earth. Here, opportunities for meaningful and impactful work abound. This is a place where we take pride in our work, from the classroom to the boardroom, because it says so much about who we are. With numerous world-class colleges and top-notch public schools, our workforce is highly educated and prepared to tackle both today's and tomorrow's challenges. And even with our stunning Appalachian Mountain location, there is room for new industries that want to be a part of the exciting and forward-thinking community of companies that already call Radford home. And when we're not at work, Radford is a city that knows how to play like no other. The New River and the surrounding mountains are world-renowned for outdoor sports, hiking, biking, kayaking, and so much more. It's a veritable playground for outdoor enthusiasts. We know how to kick back and have a good time without breaking a sweat, too. From our summer concert series, where you can shake a leg or just relax and enjoy the tunes, to an incredible local restaurant scene in and around downtown that offers something for every taste and every mood. Having fun is always part of the plan. You can see it in the smiles that greet you around every corner. Radford is a place where the good life isn't reserved for vacations or just the weekends. It's every day. It's who we are. It's what Radford is. We live, we work, and we play like nowhere else. And we welcome you to come be a part of our story as it unfolds.
I feel pretty good about that.
I want to live there. That looks amazing.
Very cool. So, like I said, there's a 15-second video and a 30-second video. We'll show the 30-second video just to kind of give you an idea of what it would look like on a commercial. We'll use those on social media. Yeah, so just a little snippet.
In Radford, Virginia, balance is all around us. We have multiple world-class universities in the area and a workforce that embraces emerging technologies. The New River and the surrounding mountains are a veritable playground for outdoor enthusiasts. And from our summer concert series to an incredible local restaurant scene, we know how to have fun too. Radford is a place where the good life isn't reserved for vacations or just the weekends. It's every day. It's who we are. It's what Radford is. We live, work, and play like nowhere else.
It's great.
And then we had a couple video campaigns that we'll use and release as time goes on. There's Come Explore With Us, Come Dine With Us, and Come Fly With Us. It doesn't matter now. Sorry, guys.
Thank you so much. You know, telling our story has been a real goal, and this is another huge step in doing that, and we can't thank you enough for the hard work.
Great job, Kim.
Yes.
What else do you have, David?
Good job. These will be fantastic ways to sell our community. They're quick snippets, so people that are looking on our pages, YouTube, anywhere like that, that these can go out will be fantastic in helping bring people here, whether it's to come, play, stay, or bring a business here. So a lot of good opportunities there. I think that's it. I would say, I know our guest tonight was asking about Pepper's Ferry, and while that's not in the city of Radford, we certainly will pass information on to VDOT and also through the MPO about the bus stop at Riverbend Apartments that's over just off of Pepper's Ferry. So we will pass that information on to them.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say anything about VDOT?
You sure can if you want to, that's fine.
Because I thought about it after I already sat down.
Uh-huh.
Because realizing that's in Montgomery County, that's who I thought, assumed, which I shouldn't have done, that's who I thought I needed to talk to. So I'd gone to Blacksburg for one of their meetings, and they told me to go to a Montgomery County Supervisors.
Board of Supervisors meeting? Mhm.
Yes, so I did, and I had already emailed and spoken to David Clark, or David, I might be.
VDOT.
Okay, so I've already talked to him, and then he was also at that meeting. And he had said that it was like a financial thing, he just had to get it approved financially, but then also, he was before me at that meeting to let everybody know how well their finances were doing. So then when it was my turn, I was like, oh, well, this is perfect timing, because now we know finances are no longer an issue. So, yeah, so it has been, I just wanted to let you know, it has been presented, but it would just look better if Radford was also like, hey, yeah, we really want this.
Yeah, as we know, Pepper's Ferry, Plum Creek, the ways we get around in the New River Valley are all very important. We support that through our regional commission and also in our joint planning efforts. I see the managers in the area. We meet regularly, and I can mention that to Montgomery County, Pulaski County as well, which that road goes through both of those.
Yeah,
and
see, I didn't
important for
realize-
us in that as we traverse.
I didn't know VDOT covered that many, like, counties together, like it was under one person, so.
Thank you. David, anything else?
That's all I've got. Thank you all.
Thank you. Kelly, what do you have?
So thank you again for everybody that presented and works really hard at Glencoe. Same for the ACE program. That's an amazing program that clearly is changing a lot of lives and making a ton of opportunities available for our future. So I hope everybody utilizes that program and goes out and experiences everything that Glencoe has to offer. Joint Commission, we're so excited about Community Fest. You guys have worked so hard, and we can't wait to experience it in a couple of weekends. It's, again, it's 8/24, Saturday, 8/24 from 11 to 7. And additionally, I just want to say again that parking on campus is free on the weekends, so come and enjoy everything they have to offer. I know David Perlman, who comes to our meetings, has been sharing a lot of swag and stickers and going downtown and speaking to a lot of the businesses down there and making sure that they feel involved in all of the new branding. And so being in those meetings every month, RU is really trying to make sure that they incorporate and think about the Radford City community, and we definitely appreciate that. Additionally, there was a citizen that was asking questions about soccer fields and being able to use them on a 24/7, 365 basis, that there was a lot of pickup games that they wanted to do, but the goals are not out, even though we have space in the city. There's no goals. And so I said that I would ask and see if there was a possibility of leaving goals out. They also approached RU to see if they could do the same thing, but I just wanted to get that in your brain and see if you could brainstorm and see.
We got nets for a couple of the goals. They're leaving those out.
All the time?
And the only issue that we have is they just have to abide by the time period for parks being closed, which I think.
10, what did we do, 11? I don't remember what we did. Okay, so there's goals out 24/7. I mean, within the times that you're supposed to be at the park. Okay.
As soon as the nets are on, they had ordered nets and
Okay, all right, thank you. I will let them know tomorrow.
Very good.
Okay. That's all I have.
Jesse, what do you have?
This evening, my moment of silence is dedicated to the Lindbergh family as they've lost their matriarch, and I'm sending love to everyone in their family. A couple things that have been going on in the community. On the 6th, there was the National Night Out sponsored by the city police. Our firefighters and EMS were there. That was an amazing event. Thank you, Chief, for spearheading that. And it was good attendance, and I think every year we'll just keep building it. So thank you for that extra effort. I did have a question that I have been asked. We do have a tourism board still. Are they meeting? Okay, is it, because someone asked they were interested in being on it, and I was like, I have not heard. Okay. There are, okay, so there's 2 to 3 vacancies, and how often do you guys meet? Okay. And is that during lunch typically, or? So if anyone is listening that would be interested, there are some of the details, so please let us know. Volunteers, send us a letter, and we'd love to have you participate. The other question was, I know that I'm interested in another corporate tour. I know we've hit one. Is it possible to get another one kind of in the books with another one of the businesses?
We had to reschedule the last one. We didn't get to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would very much like to. Seeing the video that you did, which was absolutely phenomenal, I mean, makes me want to be able to go and see.
Be a little bit.
Yes,
You get out there a little more on that.
absolutely.
A little update. Unfortunately, I know you guys have heard me talking about our Virginia housing issue where we had with the housing vouchers. There was a timeline that was sent to us by the Virginia housing staff, and we reviewed it, and we're not on track. So I'll be reaching back out to our representatives and getting some help, and Vicki is really spearheading that. I think we are probably one of the first in our state that have really stepped forward and kind of taken the lead on that. So thank you for them. But just unfortunately, I know I had said I thought we had made some progress, but we're going to have to go back to the drawing table and make sure those dates are made. So I'll follow up with you guys a little bit more on that. Let's see. There was another, our amphitheater. So we've had one meeting last month. We have another one coming up this week. We're still looking at viability. It looks like they still have a lot of interest in funding one, so it's just figuring out what that city and RU piece would look like. And Kelly and I are both on that, so I'm looking.
I think the meeting this week got canceled that I just
Oh,
saw. Did it?
Okay.
I was trying to catch up on emails.
Okay.
But
well-
yes, they work very hard, and it's very much a get it done, figure it out, so it becomes a reality.
Yep, so
it's-
we'll keep everyone posted. Apparently, it may not be going on this week, so. The CPMT, I try to give you guys an update on how many children that we're serving. Right now, there are 48 children that are being served. As far as this fiscal year, 29 are active. We have had 8 foster placements. Last month, the expenditures were $84,594. This fiscal year, it's $1,096,284.72. Yeah, just to give you guys an idea of the expense that we're talking about here. But I will also say the city has been very smart and council's been very wise. We've added a little extra because we know that there's a great variation. Knock on wood, right now, believe it or not, we are under budget. Doesn't mean that tomorrow we will not, that will not all change, but just to let you know, right now, we're under budget. Yes, the back-to-school event that was held at Glencoe was amazing. I think we had did we have 40 new teachers? So we had 40 new teachers and their mentors. So it was a full house, and the weather was a little iffy, so we actually had to meet in here, and I think that may be what we try to do from now on. It worked out so well. Were you wanting to bring up about revisiting the tech lab? Or did you want me to?
Let's do it next time.
Okay. All right, I'll just give everyone a heads up. I am going to see if on the agenda we can bring back the issue of the tech lab. I know that we had mentioned the fact that, the city right now, we still kind of have our tentacles in it, saying that they have to do certain things such as build on it before we actually relinquish our interest in it. They've asked that we relinquish our interest because they're utilizing that property to the best of their ability and what they need it for currently, and they've grown, they've done everything that they said they would do. So I know we had voted on it. There was still a little bit of things to be clarified on that. I was thinking that we had resolved that, and we had told them that keep building business and doing what you needed to do. We also have the new Commerce Park, so we have room now to grow. It appears that's not actually what we did. We extended again the current policy, so I am going to ask that we revisit that and kind of clear the path for them to do what they need to do to drive a successful business at Tech Lab. So, and that's all I have. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Seth, what do you have?
Yeah, I'll start out too, kind of with what Jesse was saying. My thoughts and prayers are with the Lindenberg family. What a wonderful woman and person, and really embodied everything that Radford is. So I know that we're all thinking about them and Coach and the whole family, and then all the kids that, like myself and a lot of people in this room, whose lives she affected. So she was a true gem of this city, and I know that we all are thinking about them, and so just wanted to put that out there for the Lindenberg family, thinking about them. I know that it's been touched on and will be touched on again, but Kim, congratulations, a big congratulations for, and David as well, and all of us, for Radford, congratulations. The $3.5 million Business Ready Sites Grant Program it's a huge deal for this community, and so appreciative of your efforts for that. I know that that was a bear to tackle, and thank you so much. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank Delegate Ballard, Morgan Griffith, and Senator Hackworth for sending letters on our behalf to help hopefully push us through the finish line there. It does take our representatives representing us, and so I'm very glad and fortunate that we had all hands on deck to get this done, and it's a game changer for this community, and thank you guys so much for your hard work on that. I thought it was awesome to hear about the ACE program. That's a special program that helps a lot of people, and that's one of the easiest ones to get behind, and they do great work. And Scott, as always, great presentation. It's truly a gem as well in this city, and thank you for all your hard work that you do for that. And also, I know that the mayor announced this week the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. I don't know that anyone's more excited than my wife and daughter, apparently, so they are very happy for that. So that's good news, and I'm sure that a lot of the little ones are thrilled about that. Thank you for our library. I know that they worked very hard, and the lamplighters, I believe, were very instrumental in doing that. So thank you to all of them. Also wanted to express my prayers and condolences to the Smith County Sheriff's Office for the passing of Deputy Hunter Reedy. The police officers and military, they're also a person behind that uniform, and just to read the statements of what a good person, man, and husband, father that he was, just tragic. So thinking about our law enforcement community, there's nothing easy about that, and stay safe out there, because you just never know. So thinking about them. Last thing I'll say is I just wanted to wish all the Bobcats headed back to school a very successful and happy school year. Be careful when you're driving on the roads, because they'll be walking to school, and that's all I got.
Thank you. Bobby, what do you have?
Just want to thank Miss Barber for coming up. Appreciate you coming up, and you're welcome back anytime. And it's always glad to see somebody come forward and speak up because they genuinely do care. Thank you. Also, Kim, your DNA's everywhere. It's just, I can't say enough. It's appreciate everything that you're doing, hard work, everybody that's there with you. Thank you so much. Looking forward to also to the Community Fest. I'm looking forward to going down there, and it's also a pleasure to see RU and the city working together. So that so excited for that. The ACE program, I learned a lot, and hopefully my 2 grandsons will take advantage of that. So I'll be pushing for that. As far as the Radford High School, the choir, the proclamation. Just so excited for the kids, the parents, and everybody involved in relation to that. And just want to say we're looking a lot of good things going on, especially on the 24th anyway. And so looking forward to that, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Bobby. Some really exciting things. This has actually been an incredible month for the city with so much going on. Certainly, we talked a little bit about the Mary Draper Ingalls celebration and all of the good things that happened with that. As we said, people from all over came for that event, and it truly was a wonderful day to showcase our community, showcase our history and heritage. And it was not just a City of Radford event. As was stated, Pulaski County was a part of it, and Ingalls Tavern was open for a period of time. It was wonderful to be able to go over to Ingalls Tavern and to hear about the Wilderness Road, about the transition, about the movement through there, and to see some of the stories with that. I think there's opportunity for that at a much higher level over the long run, and working with the Wilderness Road Museum, talking about the millions of people whose lives were impacted by traveling through the city of Radford a century ago or more. That's pretty cool. We were the frontier, and so much traveled along Rock Road and went across Ingalls Ferry and moved people to the Cumberland Gap, and just was such an important part of our story. So it's really exciting to get to talk about that. Also that weekend, but separate, was a wonderful celebration of Joe Hodge and his wife, Betty Jo. This was something that was really spurred when the Recreation Commission worked hard on doing some renovations to Hodge Field. And it got some ideas flowing. David Gilley, whose father had been on the Radford Rockets baseball team, and that's why he had come here back in the 1950s, said, you know what, I know this great guy, Rance Mullinex, who is a former major league player for the Toronto Blue Jays, who could come in and maybe do a day of skills and games and activities with the kids. So he did that day. And in addition to that, went around and helped do some fundraising. So an additional $11,000 was raised through an auction and through some donors and sponsors for the Joe and Betty Jo Hodge funding at the Recreation Center, which is fabulous because that's going to go help not only support additional improvements to Hodge Field here in Radford, which is one of our premier playing areas for our kids, but also for kids who may not have the equipment they need to be able to participate. So it's a win-win-win all the way across the board. In fact, it was so successful, I know there's some discussions about potentially having it as an annual event, maybe not on the same day as Mary Draper Ingalls weekend, but we can spread it out over the summer a little bit, and to be able to contact the other people who have been in Major League Baseball and in other sports from Radford, whether they're from the high school or from the university, connecting with those folks. I just have to say, Greg Holbrook and his team at the Recreation Department did an absolutely fabulous job, and was just another example of wonderful things happening here in the city of Radford, and exciting things to come. Seeds were certainly sown. Then, as Seth mentioned, the culmination of 5 years of work to try to figure out how to get the Dolly Parton Imagination Library to Radford. And I have to say, Elizabeth Sensabaugh is a true champion for our community, for our kids, as well as the entire library staff, and the Lamplighters make it possible. All of us on council got our Lamplighters newsletter, and I think these are being mailed out to the community, and they talk about the programs, and you get to see some of the wonderful activities that are done. But I'm going to point out one important part. There's an opportunity to donate to the Lamplighters in there, and I hope everybody will consider at least a small donation, because that's what's making this possible for every child in the city of Radford to get a book a month from the time of birth until they go to kindergarten. That's pretty cool. And it's a dedication to literacy in this community. Again, Elizabeth and the entire staff at the library, the Lamplighters, they didn't give up, because we hit a bunch of dead ends over the last 5 years trying to make that happen, and I'm really, really pleased that she was able to pull it across the finish line. But now we got to keep it going too, and so that's where we can all be Lamplighters and help participate and make that happen. The 24th is going to be an amazing day in the city of Radford with Community Fest. And then that morning, before you go to Community Fest, I hope all of you will put on your capes and get out your wands and go down to Bissett Park for the Tri-Wizard Tri-Mile Tournament, which is a fundraiser for literacy volunteers of the New River Valley. Hundreds of people come out for that event, and we'll be celebrating literacy and imagination and fun. And it is a wonderful way, again, to spread literacy in the city, in the valley, which is so incredibly important. And the work is not just for the young people that are involved, but for people of all ages who need help with job applications and preparing for things in their lives. So really important. So you can sign up at Literacy Volunteers of the New River Valley for that event that morning, and absolutely hope you'll be there. I'll be down there. It's going to be a lot of fun. What time is it? It's at 8 a.m. I believe the race starts at 9, because that's when you go to Hogwarts. But it is at 8 a.m., and we are going to kick things off with some fun activities and announcements and costume contests and all that. And then folks can go on the Tri-Mile Tournament, about a 5K down there. I also want to mention our Smart 911. So we've had several things that have happened in the city, ranging from a broken water pipe where we had to issue a boil notice for part of the city, to storms that have come through, to other things. If you sign up for the Radford Rave Alerts, the Smart 911 program, and Jenny is going to put a lot more information out there as we have been, look on our social media, look on our website, sign up for those things, because then you'll get notices on your phone, on your computer, everywhere you sign up for it. For me, I've got it on like 6 different things. So it goes bing, bong, boom, click, bang, and I kind of can't miss what's happening. It's really important, because when those things happen, we do push it out on social media and on the website, but you may not be on there right then. This is a way to get that notice. Smart 911 makes a difference for the city of Radford. So thank you, and thank you for the hard work. So far, about 4,000 people in the city have signed up, so we're about a quarter of the way there, but we would like to have a lot more than that so that everybody can be on the same page. So just so many exciting things happening in the city. I won't get into too much more detail, but the West Radford Commerce Park project has been something that has been hard fought and a long time coming, trying to figure it out in, again, some way, shape, or form over the years to get there. And now that we're making more steps, we transferred it to the EDA last month. We were able to get this grant finalized this month. It's step by step by step to sow the seeds for the progress for this city, for the future success, for the videos 10, 15, 20 years from now where they talk about some of the world-class manufacturing that's taking place on that site and the other exciting activities that'll be there. Good things are happening, and the fact that we're able to continue sharing our story is so incredibly important. And Kim, thank you for those videos. I know that's been the culmination of a big effort, not only getting the grant, but then facilitating the grant to make sure it happened. And the production company did an outstanding job. You know, again, 6 years ago when we wanted to change the way we talked about ourselves and rebrand and kind of refocus attention, this is what we hoped we would see. And it's getting there, and we are moving in that direction and telling people what a wonderful place this is and what a great opportunity this community has. And the good news is it is working. Investment is at a record level for the city of Radford. People are moving here from all over. I've talked to a number of people who lived in other places in the valley who decided to relocate to the city of Radford for all the things that are offered, and they've looked at us twice because of the messages we've gotten out there and because of the wonderful things that have happened. So it is working, and we're moving in a positive direction. Plenty more to come, so stay tuned. Good news happening. We'll keep you posted as things continue on, and with that, we will go on and close the meeting for the evening. Good night.